When you're working with certain health and well-being clients, you may begin to observe that there is some relationship tension or some obvious emotional interruption going on behind the presenting client that is in front of you, that is ultimately affecting their results and their future outcome and achieving what it is that they want to achieve. Now, you may know already, or you may not know already, that our unconscious mind is there to serve us and to protect us. And our conscious mind is logical, so it will go from A, B, C, D kind of thing when we're thinking about problem solving. It'll come up with a pretty logical format that will guide us quite naturally to achieve that outcome. Whereas the unconscious is different, where it is very creative, and so it might go from A to H to K to Z all the way back to B again over a period of time, creating some confusion and eventually beginning to settle. And this is where we find those aha moments, those epiphanies. We're like, oh, duh, like that's been there all the time. Like, why, we ask ourselves, why didn't we see that? But that's the unconscious mind working in action. And when you can understand the logic, I guess, of the unconscious mind, you can then begin to make some kind of conclusion or assumption, being careful of those words, about what might be happening for your client. And I want to say an example that might give this a little bit more clarity about what I am speaking about. Imagine a client, a woman, had been in a relationship or in her teenagers perhaps, had been raped. Very traumatic, obviously. Now, what might happen as a result of that, as the unconscious works in strange and mysterious ways, might then set up a protection mechanism that will not allow her to be attractive, for example, so to somewhat blend in with her surroundings, depending on what her surroundings is, and may set her let's say, physique capacity to be an overweight model, so that she doesn't draw attention to any men or whatever, so that kind of incident will not happen again. Now, fast forward down the track, and this individual wants to get healthy, but there's an unconscious mechanism, a program put in place that is ultimately stopping her from achieving that physique or that certain health outcome that she may want. Now, don't dismiss the fact that that program wasn't very, very, very valid at the time, because the unconscious is very smart and that's how it works. But this is when we come into trouble later on, many years later, where that program no longer serves us. And this is where it is really important and powerful to be able to communicate with the unconscious mind that resource no longer works for us. Let's find a new one. And when you are able to communicate through that with your clients, then you are going to be able to have a new client come to you with same client, new client, with a new, fresh possibility of potential and capabilities on her hands. Now, if you can begin to piece together what I have just mentioned in the realm of possibilities that you can eliminate and create for your clients, with that skill set of being able to communicate with the unconscious mind of your clients, then jump on board my advanced conversational hypnosis training, where you can learn a very simple and powerful method of very naturally and organically creating unconscious moments. Unconscious moments are forever in existence within our body. Think about your heartbeat. It's beating right now, and it's only when you draw attention to it that you know that it is there, or you do something that will make it scream a little bit louder. But our body is constantly presenting these unconscious moments. But before I get too sidetracked, it's being able to utilize those unconscious responses that show up in every conversation, knowing that every conversation is two conversations, a conscious conversation and an unconscious conversation. Think body language, but even more powerful to utilize. So if this conversation is something that brings curiosity and intrigue and unlimited potential to your mind and future business, reach out and connect. Jump on board my advanced conversational hypnosis training coming up for health and wellbeing coaches.